This is the Our Voice 360 podcast, our perspectives, our way, keeping you in the know while you're on the go. This podcast was created with you in mind. On Our Voice 360, we'll give you inspiration, sports, business and leadership tips, Black history, and entertainment. This is a show built from our perspectives. So if you're ready to be entertained, inspired, laugh a little, be informed, and enlightened, tune in now to Our Voice 360. Let's go! Hey everyone, and welcome to the show Our Voice 360. Our perspectives, our way. I'm your man Chad Bumgarner, 1/3 of the trio here. Of course, I have with me my man Pete Hunt.
What's good, family?
And my man Mike Brown, the Don Dada.
Blessings.
And with that, let's go ahead and get into it.
And as always, our show is brought to you by Elect Graphics and Photography. Allow your visions to become reality. And consulting. Great leadership equals great results. How are you leading? And if you want to get in contact with us to be a sponsor or to give us feedback on the show, you can reach us at ourvoice60@gmail.com and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Mike, what you got on that inspiration, brother?
Come on, Mike.
All right, today is gonna be short, sweet, but it's gonna be to the point as usual. In life, there's nothing wrong with helping others. That's something that I think we should all do. You know, pay it forward. You see somebody in need, you help them out.
Yeah.
But never allow your kindness to become someone else's expectations.
Wow.
It's nothing wrong with a bailout every now and again.
Right.
But you can't keep being that same bailout month after month after month. You see what I'm saying?
Because they'll expect you to be their crutch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, I think as parents, that's something that a lot of us have a hard time doing. But you have to learn to let your children make mistakes and grow. There's nothing wrong with protecting them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But in order for them to grow as young adults, teenagers, whatever, they're gonna have to make a little mistake every now and again and learn to adjust around that mistake.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
And you know what, Mike? I agree with you 100%. And this is not a cop-out. This is just me as a dad of 3 girls. It's I'm trying not to get too emotional. It's hard, man, especially in this climate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we usually have to. I don't want to get too off track because we're talking about being a crutch. So let me just stay focused.
Not necessarily a crutch, but
You right. You have to allow your kids to fall and scrape their knee or you know whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it is hard as a parent. You know, the analogy that I always give my kids is, you know, if we're walking through the forest and I'm like 10 feet ahead of my kids and I fell into this hole and got myself out and I'm walking, I'm like, hey, look, in another 5 feet, there's a hole there. Watch out. I know what I'm doing. I'm trying to tell you what I know. And then, bam, they fall into it. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I just told you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like
Right.
that today. It's like, whether they're in school or they're young adults and they're going through certain situations, hey, look, you need to be aware of X, Y, and Z. And, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they're at that point where they know everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then it happens. And it's like,
Can I say,
you watching a car wreck happen. It's like, I just told you, don't turn. Don't turn.
Mm-hmm.
and this reminds me of one more thing that I was gonna say. And it's crazy that you spoke on that, Chad. Never be afraid to let your children know your story.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Everybody got a past, man.
Oh yeah.
You know, I know in your children's eyes, you try to be the clean cut, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
but never be afraid to let them know your story and where you came from and how you overcame this. Because I'd rather them get it from me than somebody in the streets.
Yeah. I mean, and it humanizes you because, you know, as kids, when you're growing up, you put your parents on a pedestal. You know, that's mom, that's dad.
Yeah,
you know
of course. Yeah.
And I'm not saying they shouldn't revere you in that manner, but at the same time, they do, like you said, Mike, they do need to understand that, hey, I made mistakes too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I hit some bumps along the road too. I wasn't born with this wisdom. This wisdom came because of a lot of mistakes that I made.
Yes, sir.
The way, and I want to pass that knowledge. And I think, Mike, you make a good point because when you do that, there's a bond there that deepens, and the realness is there.
Yeah.
Now, like they feel like they can open up and talk because they feel like my dad ain't never, or my mom ain't never did that, so I ain't gonna say. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, I flunked algebra too and had to take summer class.
That's like with my sons.
Do this, or you know, dad got got a DUI, or you know, whatever. So you know, I'm not perfect either, baby girl, but I want you to know so that you don't make those mistakes.
It's so funny because you see yourself. Like, okay, my oldest son was doing something he probably had no business doing. And instead of me getting mad, this was years and years ago, I said, Tori, I know where you got that from. You got that from me. I know, because I did the same thing to my mom and daddy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because of that, he didn't do it again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I mean, you know, yeah, you gotta let your children know your story, man, or your grandchildren, or whoever you're rearing up. Let them know your story and the pitfalls you had with your stumbling blocks and how you got around it.
And then we must also realize that the same thing that we want to do, in my case with my granddaughter, because I don't have any natural children of my own. What I do with my granddaughter, I have to realize that the same things that I'm telling her, my parents told me.
Yeah.
And did I listen all the time?
No.
Nah, I didn't. No, I didn't. And so we have to have that flexibility and know that, you know, with us coming up and our parents trying to rear us in the right way, we were not always accepting of their advice or what they told us, what they've been through. Because I'll never forget. I mean, I hear it in my ear right now. My mom and daddy telling me all the time, "Boy, I've been where you're going. I've been where you're going." So either you can listen to me or you can fall into that trap. But again, if you fall in that trap, I may not be there to help you. I may not be there to help you if you don't listen to what we say. So we always have to have that mindset when we're, you know, rearing up our children or our grandchildren or nieces, nephews, or whoever, that we, like you said, Mike, we have to be transparent and let them know, hey, we didn't always listen to the grown folk either.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, a phrase that my parents used similar to yours, Pete. Whatever age my dad was, he was like, for instance, he'd be like, I've been 16. You ain't never been 45.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I've been 13.
Man.
You ain't never been 42. You
Exactly.
know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's like, and I find myself doing that the same with my girl, especially my oldest. I said, Kari, I've been 17. You ain't never been 47.
But have you been a girl?
I have not. Thank you for throwing the curveball in there. Not that matters though.
Nah.
A lot of these, you know what I'm saying? A lot of these lessons go whether you boy or girl. It's just about being young and dumb.
Yeah.
And not taking heed of some wisdom. But that crutch thing, you right, man. You can't be a crutch. I remember my father telling me and my brother growing up, look, me and your mama done raised you right. If you wind up going to jail, do not call us. We are not coming to get you.
Bruh, I can't.
Bad enough to do what you did, you bad enough to pay the price. Don't call us.
I cannot tell you how many times I heard that growing up.
You talk about don't be a crutch. Yeah.
Yeah.
And his bailing us out was giving that information. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. This your bailout right here.
Yeah.
Don't get out there and act the fool.
Yeah.
Let me say something.
No right from wrong.
Yeah.
So if you get caught up, you want to do your own thing and you want to be smart about it, and you wind up having to go to jail, don't call me.
I'm gonna tell you straight up. I didn't listen to that. You feel me? But you know, it's funny. Like today is August 27th. Today's marks my sobriety date. Today is the start of 24 years sober.
Congratulations,
You know what
brother.
I'm saying?
Congratulations, brother. Yes,
And
sir.
when I went to jail and in prison for drinking and driving, nothing else, drinking and driving. My mom and dad didn't come see me either. They said, I told you. That's a hurtful feeling, boy.
It is.
Woo! My mom ain't accept no calls, no nothing. You're not gonna run my bill up. I didn't put you there.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, I never went back.
Yeah. You learn real
That
quick.
was a one and done for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the tough lessons that you have to, you know, in that state, you have to give your young people, your children, your grandchildren, nieces, nephews. Those are the harsh realities of if you can make a mistake and, you know, be there by yourself.
Yes, sir.
And Mike, I can't, you know, I can't even imagine, you know, the spot that you were in, and then your mother, who I know very well,
Yeah.
that Miss Ruth was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine hearing that. You know what I'm saying?
Bruh, I couldn't even.
but you heard it, and then you was like, oh, this is real.
Yes, sir.
Oh, she wasn't playing.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, I never forget. I called my mama collect. My mama said, Michael, don't call my house.
Oh wow.
Bruh. She said, I told you, didn't I? I'm on the phone crying. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Bruh. I ain't been back. No, sir. The devil is a lie.
But it took that.
Yeah.
That's what it took for you to get back on the correct path.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead and say it, on the straight and narrow.
On the straight and narrow. Exactly, on the correct path, because, you know, like I said, I know Miss Ruth well. I know she wasn't playing. Bro, nah, I'm good. But that was the kick in the butt that you needed to get right.
Yep.
Yeah, look, okay, my mama said she ain't riding with me. She loved me, but in this, I got to ride this one by myself.
Yeah, I rode it.
But yeah, like you said, Mike, we can't allow ourselves to be used as a crutch or used, period. No matter what the situation is, we can't, whether it's friends, family, or whatever, we can't be allowed to, you know, be used in such a manner that people take us for granted. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That is so true. So, as always, Mike, appreciate that, man.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
What's so funny, man? What you clowning? All right, Pete. Let's move on to that sports brief, man.
Well,
your girl about to act up, but go ahead.
No.
She in there whining. Yeah.
On a serious note, sports today is going to be real heavy, because if you don't know, the NBA players basically walked out on strike because of the death of Jacob Blake and the continued disrespect by police officers and higher ups to the black community, to the black man, woman, and child. And not only did it affect the NBA games, which were last night, the NBA games tonight because they are canceled, but it also stretched across other sports. Major League Baseball canceled games because of it. MLS, Major League Soccer canceled games because in honor of Jacob Blake and the disrespect and the outright murder. Well, not murder, but maiming of him. Because now Jacob Blake at this stage in the game, he's paralyzed. And I'm so proud of these NBA players. Young guys, older guys, the LeBron James guys who've been in the league long in the two, and even these younger players who 1, 2, 3 years in the league stood up for something.
Mhm.
And I couldn't be more proud of those young black men to stand up and say, it's enough, man. It's enough. We're tired. We're angry. Something has to change.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a feel. It felt so good. I mean, to the point where, as we talked off air, you know, the Kenny Smiths of the world walking off stage last night on TNT.
Yep.
Saying that I stand with the players and I stand with my people. And even this morning, watching different shows this morning, sports shows this morning, you know, strong black men getting emotional about the talks that they have to have with their children.
Yeah.
That white people don't have to have with their children.
That's right.
You saw Doc Rivers talking about, we are hunted. We are people that's being hunted by police. And it's just a sad state right now for our world. I mean, everybody, you know, we pick and joke about, you know, the year 2020, but it's really awful. I mean, you know what I'm saying? If you really look at what's the things that's going on right now, it's really awful, and especially when relates to black people. Now, I mean, this is nothing new to us. I mean, you know, it's really nothing new. But
not to us.
Yeah, to us. But with camera phones now and social media, it's just been a light put on it. We've been going through this since 1619.
Mm-hmm.
Since we were brought to this land, whether it was slavery and being hung, or Jim Crow, or Reconstruction, whatever it may be, our people looked upon as less than.
Even in the Constitution, it says we 3/5 of a man.
Yeah, we were 3/5 of a person. Yeah. That's what we constituted as black people. Even though this country was built on our blood, sweat, and tears. This country was built on our backs.
That's right.
And we still, 400 plus years later, we still do not garner the respect that we deserve as a people. And I'm just, like I said, I'm so proud of these NBA players and taking their platform and doing something positive with their platform. Because I can tell you right now, 10 years ago, this doesn't happen.
No.
15 years ago, this doesn't happen.
That's true.
So these men, and excuse me, I'm sorry, I don't want to leave out the WNBA because they are really the front runners.
Yeah.
The WNBA they have been doing this for several years and being on the front lines of social justice. So I really don't want to leave those women out. But it was an extremely powerful statement for the NBA, WNBA, MLB, MLS to stand up and say, look, we're not going to take this anymore. And things need to change, and things need to happen. And I couldn't be more proud of those men and women.
I agree. I really don't. I don't really have too much to add, man. They made a like I said when we were talking offline, how Bob Costas was saying how he didn't think it was a good move for them not to play because they had the platform to make the statement. But again, like Jamel Hill said, you know, we've tried it that way. We put Black Lives Matter on the court. We come out there with I Can't Breathe t-shirts. We're trying to show awareness. And it's like, whatever, just play ball. And then it happens again. As if George Floyd issue wasn't enough to put cops in check. It happens again. And so the players are like, you know what, screw it. We're done.
Yeah, right.
We're done, period.
I think this is just the beginning of something that it's gonna be a lot more people saying they done.
I believe this world is on the brink of something. I don't know what it is, but we are on the brink of some type of breakthrough. I don't know if it's gonna get worse before it gets better. I'm not a prophet. I have no idea, but I just feel like we are on the brink of or the verge of something. Something's about to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's going to be an explosion for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
For sure. And I mean, and like you said, Chad, it may be, it may start off as a negative, but it's going to be a positive because at a certain point, you can only be disrespected for so long.
For so long.
For so long. And we've had 400 plus years of disrespect. Things stolen, stuff stolen. We create stuff and it's stolen from us.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't receive the profits from it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing to me that in 2020 we are still talking about the same things that the civil rights movement went through. From Dr. King to Malcolm X to Medgar Evers to, I mean, the list goes on. And in 2020, we're still talking about the same things, and we want to be respected as human beings.
Yep.
But but to continue about the NBA, they will be canceling today's games, which is August 27th. But they do plan. They did take a vote, and they met and took a vote. They will continue the playoffs because a lot of the guys feel that this is a great opportunity. We have the platform to speak our minds and say what we need to say, because we know, like we talked before we came on, the LeBron Jameses of the world, they can get a press conference anytime they want and make things happen. But people like George Hill, who are really on the front lines of these things in the NBA, he's a great player, but he doesn't have that platform that a LeBron James or Kawhi Leonard or Giannis or James Harden has. So this is his opportunity to share his story and to share his voice, and that's what this has done. This has made guys who are not really on the outside or marginalized, but guys who don't have that big voice or that won't be recognized on the street. It gives them the opportunity to share their story or tell or their feeling about the situation. And like I said, George Hill is one of those guys who he's a starting point guard for the Milwaukee Bucks. And like with Milwaukee doing what they did yesterday, he was the one that spearheaded it. You know, should we actually play? Should we, entertain for people who don't respect us? And that's what it boils down to. Those NBA guys and those black professionals, black baseball players, they're entertainment.
They're like being a court gesture.
Basically.
You know what? The best way to look at this, do y'all remember in Do the Right Thing when Mookie was talking to one of the brothers of the
Sal's sons?
Yeah.
The oldest son.
He was saying,
yes, sir.
When you see
Michael Jordan,
Magic Johnson, or prominent athletes, the boy clearly said he didn't see them as black. They were something else.
Yeah.
Because
for those people who haven't seen, I didn't mean to cut you off, Chad.
Yes, sir.
But for those people who haven't seen Do the Right Thing, he didn't say black.
Right.
He said the N-word.
The N-word.
Yeah. Because him and Mookie because he liked to throw that word around. And Mookie was, basically telling him, bruh, we that's not who we are. And that's when he went into the Jackie Robinson, man, he said, but they are not N-words. You know what I'm saying? So
right. He said, well, you know what I'm saying, Mookie? They're not N-words. They're you know what I'm saying? And Mookie's like, no. Because they just like me. Only difference is they have a platform where they can use their talent on a national scale and they get paid a lot of money. Other than that, we the same.
Right. Yeah.
But the pizza parlor didn't see it like that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of people out there of the fairer complexion that think and feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Like celebrities and entertainers and politicians or whatever that they like, they see them as different than the rest of the black folks.
Mm-hmm.
They can't explain it. I have yet to have one white person explain to me why is that black man any different than me outside of him being able to dribble a ball or whatever and have more money and more followers on social media.
Yeah.
Other than that, he ain't no different than me.
Mm-mm.
But they
Not at all.
Make the difference.
Because again, it goes back. It goes back to when we were brought here. Their mindset is of separation. Light-skinned slave, dark-skinned slave.
Yep.
Light-skinned slave in the house, dark-skinned slave in the field. Black person and average black person, we're gonna put in this category. LeBron James, we're gonna put in this category, and he's higher. We're gonna put him in the house. Same analogy. Yeah. We're gonna put Oprah Winfrey in the house. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
We're gonna put Pete Hunt, Mike Brown, and Chad Bumgarner in the field.
Mm-hmm.
See, because we don't have that cachet. We don't have that money. We don't have that popularity. It's money, the same thing. Access. That's right. It's the same. It's the same thing. It's that divide and conquer, that separation.
Right.
And that's the mindset. And, and that's the mindset. And it's been that way since we were brought here. So nothing has changed. America is working the way it should. It was designed to work.
Yeah.
Just like with the justice system, they said the justice system is broken. No, it's not broken.
No, it's working just fine.
It was designed to work.
Exactly. When slave patrols were started.
Yep.
That modern day police is nothing but the slave patrol.
That's how the police department, how they start. That was the origin. And I had I was going back and forth with one person. That's not. If you do your research on police, that's where it started from. Slave patrol.
Yeah, they captured runaway slaves.
Yeah, that's where policing started. Now, we have the ability to recreate policing and make it for the good of everyone. We have that ability by policies, you know what I'm saying, stiffer laws. We have the ability, training. We have the ability to recreate policing to where it truly does benefit all American citizens. But until we get to that point, it's no different than the slave patrol. Because here's the deal. You have a person who wants to become an officer. It takes 6 months, roughly, right?
Yep.
Police school or whatever, they become an officer. Now, if I want to train to become a doctor, that's 4 to 8 years of training before I can officially become a doctor, right? Or if a scientist or whatever, that may take some more years. Basically what I'm saying is, any profession where it takes years of training, when you make a huge mistake, there's a price to pay. Whether you get fired, whether you get demoted, you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case is. It appears that police are the only profession where you can F up tremendously and not get fired or demoted or dock in pay.
And all you need to become one is be 18. That's it. Be 18 years old, be a cop.
You know, it's funny when you talk about training, Chad. It takes longer to become a barber and beautician than it takes to become a police officer. Think about that. That's unreal.
Yeah.
It takes you longer
to cut somebody hair.
To cut hair than to be able to have the right to kill people.
It take you longer. Yeah, it take you longer cosmetology to do nails, anything.
But here's the deal with that, though. Check this out. Whether you're a barber or a hair salon owner, or you do hair, or with nails, any one of those professions, if you mess up, that's your livelihood. Your name is ruined. Your business is ruined, right? You get a bad cut at the shop, more than once, that shop's not gonna be around, or that barber's gonna be gone.
Right.
Yep.
Nail salons, if you go get your nails done and you wind up with a fungus or something happens a couple days later, that's a problem. Hair salon, if she burn your scalp or
getting sued,
do something, you getting sued, it's coming down. Apparently, the police are the only people who can do whatever they want and screw up, big or small, and it's like, oh well, we just need to do some training. Yeah, we just need. It's unfortunate that this young man lost his life, but we just need to do some more training. This is the only profession.
But the different, the
But there's no
difference,
accountability, Pete. There's no accountability.
it just depends. It just depends on who, and we're talking
the
about, who pulls the trigger and who is getting shot, or who is
You know
getting
what?
maimed.
That's a
Because,
good point.
because look,
when that black cop in Texas, when he shot and killed, you about to go ahead, Pete. I don't want to take go out your joke. Go ahead.
bruh, because if you look at when white officers kill black men, women, and children, they're put on desk duty and there's no consequences. When black police officers happen to shoot somebody white,
And
they
kill him.
going to jail.
Oh yeah,
They going to jail.
Where's the police union for
that
them?
day.
Minnesota, the Somalian police officer who said he feared for his life and killed the white woman in her own home. He's in prison right now. The officers who killed Breonna Taylor, the black attorney general of Kentucky,
Yeah.
who was just at the Republican National Convention speaking, can do all of that, but not charge the officers who killed Breonna Taylor
In her sleep.
in her sleep.
Yeah. Oops, wrong house.
So that leads us to believe that there's accountability taken when you're the black officer that shoots somebody white, but it's not vice versa. I mean, since this has gone with happened with the NBA on social media, especially Twitter, they black activists and black athletes have shown videos of white people cutting a fool, punching officers, taking their police cars and slapping them and doing whatever and chasing them with knives and all this other stuff. And guess what?
They
go to the jailhouse. They get handcuffs put on them and taken to the jailhouse.
Before we even get to the jailhouse, they get a burger and something.
Yeah, they get a burger and fries.
Kill 9 black people in the church.
Get a Happy Meal.
You go to Burger King and get you something to eat. Or the pressing issue right now in Wisconsin, where the young white man, 17 years old, kills 2 protesters and shoots one, and guess what? If we look at the video before he even gets into that foolishness that he got into, you have police officers thanking those, they call them militias, but that's not what they really are.
Thugs.
Your gangs, the terrorists, whatever you want to call them.
Thugs.
They were offered water and we thank you guys for being here with us. That's what they're told.
Got it on tape.
And then he goes on to kill 2 people and shoot someone else. He shoots 3 people and he walks away and he turns himself in. They don't even go to his home and get him. He turns himself in.
When he was
Go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna say when he was walking down the street, the cops rolled past him.
Hands up.
Hands up.
He told the police, I just shot 3 people. You know what the police said? Don't come this way with the gun. You go the other way. What? He walked home, turned himself in. They didn't even go get him. He turned himself in. But Jacob Blake is walking towards his car, and let me explain something to the listener and the viewer. He did exactly what the police wanted him to do.
Yeah.
Instead, he told them previously, look, I have a knife in my car. He wanted to leave the situation, as most black people do. Mm-hmm. And I can probably say to you guys, if something pops off and the police show up, we go into our cars.
Yeah.
Back in the day, back in the day when we was clubbing or whatever, we was partying. If something popped off at the club and the police show up, we at the car. Because guess what? Even though I wasn't involved in whatever went on, my life can be taken at any moment.
That's it.
Yep.
Excuse me, by the police. So as black men, black women, our default is go, hey, the police show up, we gone.
Yeah.
Because they can kill us with impunity. And, and there's no consequences. But back to this young man that did back to Jacob Blake, he did exactly what the police wanted him to do.
Mm-hmm.
He told them, okay, I have a knife in my car. Instead of tackling him, instead of tasing him, instead of, because they said it was what, 4 or 5 officers out there?
Oh yeah.
Right. On one dude.
On one guy. You
So
can't
my
contain
thing
him.
is this. Why didn't you ask Mr. Jacob Blake, Mr. Blake, can you stand here for the side? Can we go ascertain the night?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
Or
but that's
don't go to your car. Can you just stay here?
Chad, that's not what they wanted him to do.
I know. There's too much right.
Yeah. What they wanted him to do was exactly what he did.
Yeah.
Walk to your car, and as soon as
And
you open your door,
Give us a reason.
give us a reason
Yeah.
to kill you.
Yeah.
He did exactly what they wanted him to do. He gave the reason to kill him by opening that car door.
Yeah.
Yep.
By him walking away and saying, okay, I don't want to be a part of this, played right into their hands. So now I can grab you by your shirt
Yeah, while I'm
and
shooting you.
put the barrel of the gun on your back and shoot you 7 times. Because guess what? When it all comes out, they're going to say he had a gun, he had a knife in his car.
Right.
So that gave us justification to kill him. He did the police played it perfectly because they wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He played right into their hands. And I hate that he did, because sit down on the ground. Okay, if you're gonna arrest me, or whatever you're gonna do, go ahead and do it. But what I'm not gonna do, if I know that if I know that I have a weapon in my car, they're gonna kill me. Philando Castile
Yeah. I was just thinking about him.
Yeah, he was licensed.
Sure was.
told the officer, I am a licensed gun owner and I have the weapon in the car. I'm going to reach and show you my license. He reached to get his gun permit, and he gets killed in front of his woman and his baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They don't care about black life. Police don't care about black life. Jacob Blake had 3 of his children in the car. What if one of those bullets ricochets and hits one of his babies?
That's right.
They don't care about black life. We are not human.
We're expendable.
Here's my deal.
And we're not human.
Here's my deal. You have, so you what, not you, Pete, but you as in the police officers at that scene. So what you're telling me is there's 4 of you there with weapons, with guns.
Yep.
This one man has a knife in the car. And you're telling me that you had to bypass your billy club. You had to bypass your taser. You bypassed your physical brawn
Yeah,
and went
it's for
straight
y'all.
to the deadly weapon. So you're
Yeah.
telling me that the 4 of y'all could not have handled this one Jacob Blake
That was a thin black man.
with a knife that was in the car. See, number one, you'd have to get to the car. That's 4 of y'all.
They walked him around to the car.
And
They didn't stop him from going, just like Pete said. You played it to their hand. They followed, they walked behind him. If you was in such fear of your life, why didn't you stop him from going around the car to the
That's
door?
my whole point. That's my whole point. When that man told you he had a knife in the car and he's not near the car, why didn't you ask him, Mr. Blake, can you stay
Where's
here?
the knife?
Yeah, where is the knife? Can we grab the knife? Because we don't want you potentially trying to go get it. There's many ways. See, de-escalation is something else. It's something that they know nothing about or don't want to know about.
they didn't want to de-escalate. Again,
They mind was made up.
again, what did you guys just framed it perfectly. And it's not Mr. Blake's fault, because again, our default process as black folk is when the police show up,
Get out of Dodge.
it's time to go.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that goes back decades.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
This man followed the orders of the police to the T. Am I right?
Yeah.
far as I
Okay.
know.
Okay. So, what am I saying here? You know what? Never mind. Go ahead. Never mind. I
It'll come
can't.
to
I
you.
can't. I can't do it. Go ahead.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Uh,
Go ahead
uh,
and say what you need to say.
go ahead. It's all right.
No, we family. Say what's on your mind.
No. We no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But
Go ahead.
again, and it's not, like I said, it's not Mr. Blake's fault, and I'm not blaming him for anything. But again, they were not trying to arrest him. They were not trying to detain him. They followed that man to his car, knowing he had a weapon in his hand, a weapon in his car.
In his car. Mm-hmm.
Knowing that he had a weapon in his car. I'm going to follow you until you open the car door and it looks like you're getting into your car, or it looks like you're reaching. That gives me carte blanche to kill you or try to kill you.
Because if you look at the video, they never did yell stop. They ain't do none of that. They walked them just as peacefully behind them.
With their guns drawn.
Yeah.
Ready.
And held them by the shirt and killed them. I mean, and shot and paralyzed them.
Yeah. And I mean, and it baffles my mind that people, and especially people that don't look like us, don't understand that. I mean, because the first thing their default is, for people who don't look like us, their default is, what did he do?
Yeah.
What was his record?
He must apply.
Well,
that's what I wanted to say, Pete.
Okay, go ahead.
That's what I wanted to say. What did his record have to do with this situation?
Nothing.
What did him having a criminal background have to do with this situation? Especially, now I could see if he lied to the cops and no, I don't got no weapons on me or in the car. Then I'm like, okay.
Because they have to.
But he told them.
They got to dress it up.
I have a knife in the car. So he was forthright. He was cooperating. That's the word I'm looking for. He was cooperating with the police. There was no struggle at that time. Like you said, they walked them around to the car. What did his record have to do with this event? For some reason, it seems like if somebody has a criminal record, then, oh, well, he had a record. And I actually heard that on the news segment.
If you black and have a criminal record, there's a difference.
Black, it matters.
There's a difference. Your criminal record matters if you're black and get killed by police or you get shot by police. Because guess what?
It's got to be your fault.
Because first of all, media and people that don't look like us have to have some type of excuse for why the police treat us the way we do.
They can't obviously just treat you bad just for general purposes. That doesn't make any sense.
No, you're black. You're black, first of all, because since we're thought as lesser than, and since it's my black skin is basically criminal to you. That's what my black skin looks like to people who don't look like us. Our black skin is criminality.
Yeah.
That's why, if you're walking down the sidewalk and some white folk is walking towards you, they'll walk across the street. But they'll go in the woods and pet a bear. Or play with some lions and some snakes. But you scared of me. My thing is this: as black folk, we docile.
We are.
Yeah.
We are a docile people. We are a loving people. Do you think after the 400 plus years we've been here, we've done nothing to people that don't look like us? Can you imagine?
Those days are over.
Bruh, look, we have gone through this for 400 years and haven't picked up a weapon against the people who have put us in bondage.
Even worse, we've picked up a weapon and went side by side with them to war in every single war that the United States has fought.
Thank you. And then come back.
And then you're going to tell me that I don't love my country? No, my country does not love me.
as Doc Rivers said.
You love my culture. You love my food.
Love
you
it.
love my music.
Love it.
You love my style.
Love
our
it.
swag.
Mm-hmm.
You love our culture.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this, and this is just me speaking. This is my stance on it. As y'all know, I'm a Navy veteran. I was in Desert Storm. But when I took that oath, it said that I will protect my country from enemies foreign
and
domestic.
Yes, sir.
So when these domesticated enemies act a fool, I'm gonna act a fool, and I'm gonna leave it just like that.
Yeah, I mean,
hey, I got a monkey wrench to throw in here.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Where's the NRA?
Oh, they never around. They never
around.
around.
17-year-old, he's not even legal to carry this gun.
Yeah.
Walking down the street with it, shot and killed 2 people, and came across state lines. Where's the NRA?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm not worried about him.
Or in the situation with Philando Castile.
Yeah.
Where now that is a legal gun owner.
Yeah.
With his papers, and there's nothing said. But again, when as a people, when we're thought as less than, that's why they came up with races.
Yeah.
There was no race. There was no thing as race.
Right.
They had to put stuff on. They had to put race there for the oppressors had to put race on there to look down upon somebody.
Right.
They had to have somebody to look down upon.
But that race didn't come in until the 1700s. Because before that, people were described according to where they lived. Like Scandinavians, Egyptians, Panamanians. You were described according to the country that you came from. But Pete, you hit the nail on the head. Europeans had to come up with some kind of scale or class so that they could be superior.
Yeah. And that's what it boils down to. And that's the mindset as of today, whether it's police officers or whether it's you trying to get a loan from the bank or you're trying to move up in your field of whatever you're doing, your profession. That's what it is. I mean, and nobody that doesn't look like me will never understand what we go through as a people and what we've been through as a people.
Daily,
bruh, daily. And that's why they say, what are you complaining about? What are you what is the older lady, the white lady who Jane Elliott.
I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Sir.
Oh yeah.
The video,
the racial test and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you go to YouTube and look at the video of where she says this to a room full of white people. She said, raise your hand if you would trade places with a black person right now.
I remember
nobody raised their hand.
Nobody raised their hand. Not even a black person.
And nobody raised their hand. No,
right.
Nobody raised their hand because and then she said, that lets me know that you know what black folk go through. You know what's going on.
You're okay with it.
And you cool with it. And you're okay with it. Not one person raised their hand. But again, Chad, like you said, you love our music, you love our swag, you love our culture, you love our food, but you don't love the man. You don't love the woman. You don't love the child.
But you want your body to look just like us.
You love what you can take from us. And that's been since day one. And that's since day one when we were brought, our people were brought here. It's just, like I said, man, it's just right now, we're at a tipping point.
I'm gonna tell you, reminds me of something the comedian Paul Mooney said.
He's deep.
He said, everybody want to be black until it's time to be black.
Till it's time to be black.
Yep. Everybody, yeah, you're right. Everybody wants to be black till it's that time.
real quick for the listeners and viewers, we just need for you to know that the rest, our format has been scrapped because, in light of recent events uh, that have happened with Jacob Blake and Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and others, especially the one that just recently happened with Jacob Blake. We felt the need as Our Voice 360 to really touch on these subjects because it needed to be done today. So we have scrapped the rest of the format, and also we need to make this very clear, crystal clear, that this is not a bashing moment for people of a lighter hue. This is an enlightening moment. We need for our white allies to listen to this podcast not with resent or guilt, but to enlighten yourself and to educate you on the thoughts and feelings of people of color and what we're going through right now. We don't expect you to feel it, but you can at least listen and try to get a glimpse and understand what it is that we're feeling and that we're going through as a people, and why it's important that changes must happen in this country and throughout the world, because it's going to happen. Eventually, it's going to happen. And there's no malice. There's no revenge. We just want equality and fairness and justice. That is all. No one's trying to be above anyone else. We just want to be equal. That is it. That is what we ask, and that is what we demand as human beings. It's our human right. Who are you to judge and say that one group of people is superior or inferior than another group of people? We're all the same. If you cut us, I guarantee you that blood is going to come out red. There's nothing different except the color of our skin.
Very good.
I mean that's well said, Chad. But people will have to understand again what, as black folk, what we go through, because I can't speak for any other race of people. I've been black for 47 years of my life, and will continue to be black and love being black. I want it no other way.
Ditto.
That's right.
I want it no other way. I don't want to be nobody else but this black man right here that's sitting in front of you. But people must understand, you must have empathy for people. And you must have a sense of fairness.
Yes.
You have to have a sense of fairness.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, towards others. I mean,
how
we
can
do
you
it
call
as black
Christian and not be fair?
Bro,
Don't go there.
That's a whole that can be a whole nother.
That's a whole nother segment.
But that was the theme for the past couple of nights with the Republican convention.
Oh, it's so much fake religion out here. It's a shame. It's so many fake religious people. It's so many fake Christians out here. Right. It's a shame. But because when you realize that Jesus wasn't American, Jesus wasn't white. When you realize who he really was, I saw something on Twitter, I think right before we got here. He said, when white and evangelicals realized that Jesus wasn't a white American and he was a brown man, they would be calling him a leftist terrorist. That's what they would be calling him. Because if you go by his teachings, if you really about that life,
right?
You really about that Christian walk, and you go by what the Bible that you say you read,
what the skin of brass,
and that you study, Jesus wasn't about all the foolishness that you talking about.
If he came right now, they would not know him.
They wouldn't have a clue who he was.
If they
probably try to arrest him.
If they look at, they probably arrest him. If they look at the description of Jesus in the Bible, Jesus was red bone. He was.
With an afro.
With an afro.
Cause what in Revelation the words say, his feet was of brass.
Yeah.
And his hair was of lamb's wool.
And you
Now,
know how
who-
that lamb's wool is.
What other people on this planet, when allowed to grow their hair out, is more familiar with lamb's wool?
I'm just saying.
It ain't the white
We
folks.
just going to the good book. That's what the good book say.
That's what the good book
And
says.
it's a good book. Don't get me wrong.
And something I want to I can't remember who said this to me. I was in a conversation with the brothers. I can't remember where we were at, but we were discussing man, just the beginning of man. If you're going to look at it biblically, and the beginning of man and one, Adam and Eve, whatever. And he told me, he said, Pete, he said, the word say God spat upon the ground.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
He said, when the last time you seen some white ground? What does earth look like? What is the color of earth?
Well,
what is the color of earth? If God spat upon the ground, what
Pete,
is the color of dirt?
Pete, we got to wrap.
Okay.
We got to wrap up. You better start over.
I'm just saying. If you look at it for what
you
is.
You got to wrap up. You
If
about to hurt some feelings, Pete.
If God spat upon the ground, what color is dirt? What color is earth? What's the color that we associate with dirt?
Pete,
brown.
you about to offend some folk.
I'm just saying. I'm being real with it. And it's funny to me. Last point. It's funny to me that Christians say, that who was the first black man that they say ruled the earth? Well, the descendants of Cain and Abel. Abel's descendants were the black folk were the descendants of Cain. That's what they say, because Cain's the bad guy. Cain's
right. Cain killed Abel.
Cain killed Abel, and Ham and okay, all right. I'm good. Okay. But I just want to. But I just wanted that to sink in. If the God that you say you serve, back upon the ground and made man in his own, what did you do, Chad? Informed man in his own image.
What?
Formed man, breathed the breath of life into his lungs. What did the ground look like that he spat upon?
Wow.
Now we talking about we in Africa now. Okay, that we not even gonna.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen. Real quick, Pete. A while back, you touched on the 1619. You said this been going on since 1619, and it was part of something I wanted to bring to y'all today. I'm gonna do it next week. I'm just gonna give you a touch on it today. So don't y'all pick at me for bringing something up more than one time.
Look. We call that in the business a tease. We call that a tease. We call it a tease. That you giving us a tease for next week.
The lady who created the Envy. The lady who created the 1619 project, Nicole Hannah-Jones.
Sure.
All right, she has now partnered with Oprah Winfrey and Lionsgate. So now they're going to be doing some television series, feature films, and other content based upon the 1619 project, which I think is going to be really, really dope, because it's going to get into a lot of those articles that was in the 1619 project, and really bring those to life.
That's fantastic.
And really educate a lot of us who don't know or who think we know, because a lot of people really need to be educated, including ourselves.
Of course, yes, sir.
But I think that's really dope, and that's a huge event. So I look forward to breaking all that information down next week on the next podcast. But gentlemen, it has been this has been a grim interlude. I wish I could say this has been one of the podcasts where we really had fun, but with what's going on right now, it needed to be touched. Right. It needed to be explained. And I think a lot of people that don't look like us need to watch this podcast and understand, or at least get a gist of how we feel.
Mm-hmm.
what we're thinking,
Mm-hmm.
what matters to us. And I think a lot of them are like, if it doesn't interrupt my perfect little bubble, oh well, I wish them well. I hope they get it together. But it's going to eventually affect your bubble.
Mm-hmm.
It's growing. It's getting to the point where you won't be able to stop it. Change is coming, and we
Yeah.
rather change with you than without you. But it is coming.
Yeah.
So
That's it.
it's just a way, like Gary Owens, the comedian. He put something out on Instagram, and he was like, white people. He said, now's the time to really just listen. He said, we've been talking for over 400 years. We can afford to listen right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And people get on me because I haven't been saying, Gary, I don't see you. Where you at? Where you at? He said, because I'm listening.
Mm-hmm.
He said, white folks, we need to listen to what's being said out here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like you get upset about the riots. Half the time, it's not the actual people doing the protest. Those are people coming in from out of town, acting a fool.
Mm-hmm.
But some of those riots are the people that live there. And it's like the analogy I use real quick. It's like when a child is trying to tell the parents something and the parents not paying attention. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. It's going to get to the point where that child is going to boil and either they're going to throw a temper tantrum or they're going to throw something or they're going to start screaming because they're not being heard.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's going on. We are not being heard. We've tried to protest silently, march silently. We've tried to do things that didn't cause chaos or ruckus, but it's like it's not being heard.
Mm-mm.
So now we got to turn the heat up.
Because it doesn't want to be heard. I mean, it boggles my mind when people say that's not the right way to protest. Well, tell us how. Since you're an expert on protest, please tell us how, as black people, we're supposed to protest, please.
And be heard.
And be heard. Exactly. You don't want to hear what we have to say. And that's what it basically boils down to. You don't want to hear what we have to say. And again, we've been silent for a long, long time. And like I said, we've tried to be, we've marched till we had holes in our shoes. No effect. I mean, at some point it's gonna be a tipping point, and there's gonna be an explosion. And I hope that at the other end of the explosion, positive things happen.
Yeah.
But it's coming because this is over 400 years in the making.
Yep.
Like you said, Chad, at some point that child is going to get your attention.
One way or the other, yeah.
One way or the other.
They're really convicted about it. They really trying to tell you something,
yeah. He or she is going to get your attention, and you may not like the results. You may not like the results, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Any last comments, concerns, questions?
Y'all hear that?
Yeah. But we don't own the rights.
I know. We don't own the rights to that song, but it need to be heard.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Oh, yes, it will.
Woo! Bruh. Thing make you emotional, boy. But
Our Bible thought or verse for the week is coming from John 15, verse 12 and 13. And it reads, "This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." Now, to my white counterparts, I am not asking you to lay down your life and die for me. But what I am asking is that you stand shoulder to shoulder with me and combat racism whenever and wherever it raises its head, and join with us in the fight for equality and justice. Now, you may be ostracized by your white counterparts. Are you able to handle that? We've been ostracized by y'all for over 400 some years.
We're handling it quite well.
We gonna do this together, with or without you. It's your choice.
Roll with us or get rolled over.
That's it. Get down or lay down. Everybody else saying something.
Yeah, Mike, what?
be on the outros like that?
All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. This is our show for this week. Thank you for tuning in to Our Voice.
So much. Thank you so
Our
much.
perspectives, our ways. Excuse me.
You got the COVID.
Be blessed. Be safe. We are out.
Peace.
Peace.
If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when a new show drops. Please rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. Also, if you'd like to advertise or become a sponsor, please send an email to ourvoice360@gmail.com with your inquiry. We'll connect with you as soon as possible in hopes of creating a great partnership. And as always, thank you for tuning in to Our Voice 360. Our perspectives, our way, keeping you in the know while you're on the go. See you next week.